Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about why I don't do tutorials. Okay, so today I want to answer a question that came in a couple of days ago by Akib Faraz. He asked, "Hello Eric, why don't you make tutorials?" Right? And Akib, I really appreciate the question. Thank you very much. I do tutorials sometimes, but I don't, as a general rule, I don't spend a lot of time doing tutorials because there's not a real shortage of tutorials out there, right? A lot of times people will ask me, can you do a tutorial on Android development, like from the beginning, like beginner's Android? And I would do a terrible tutorial. I think there are so many really good tutorials out there and really good developers making tutorials about these kind of things that we don't really need another one on YouTube or anywhere, right? Unless if there was something I thought I could add. The tutorials I've done in the past, it's been more like deploying to Google Play or deploying to iTunes, because that was something that I thought was really lacking in terms of, like, when I had to figure it out, I found it really hard to figure this stuff out because all the documentation I could find was out of date, and it gets out of date so quickly every time there's a major Google Play change. Or when we talk about stuff like keyword research and things like that, that's something that's hard to research. Or when you do find resources on how to do that, a lot of times it might be skewed towards one platform or another. And if I think there's a shortage, I'll do something on that. But most of the time, the goal of the channel is not so much to teach, but more that we have a conversation. So if you watch the video each day but you don't read the comments, you're probably missing out on a lot, because there's a lot that goes into the comments that other people are having the same frustrations, or they may discover something and they'll bring it up there, and it's really interesting, and we all get better as developers. And I've talked about this before, how when I first started, there was I knew nobody who was doing apps. I was the only person that I knew of, and of course, and I was surrounded by people who didn't really understand what it was I was trying to do, because they weren't in it, but they would read certain things, or they would say, people give me advice like, you should put a button with an ad right over it so that the button moves around and they have to catch it and they keep clicking the ads, right? I said, well, that's kind of a policy violation. You can't really do that. And they're like, okay, all right. And they'll think of other things that which were just really sneaky and shady. And I'm like, you have to know what it's like to be an app developer. You have to know this kind of stuff. It's only when you start working with other app developers and getting into conversations with them that you really start to learn things. And that's when I joined this mastermind group and meeting other app developers. And it was like a whole new world opened up, because they had the same problems and insecurities and everything. You just try to make everything work on the app market. And that's more what I hope the channel is. But if I thought there was some way I could help out with tutorials, I would, right? And a lot of times, it's, as a developer, we can't. See, this weekend I got asked a couple of questions from a couple different people about if I could solve this problem for them, like a bug that they were having or something they were having trouble figuring out. And I would say, I did that like a few years ago. If you just Google it, you'll find the resources. But it's like, no, can you have a look at it, because I'm really struggling with this. And I said, I can't debug this application for you, right? This is, as a developer, there's certain things that you have to go through. You get better as a developer by teaching yourself, and you have these stumbling blocks and everything like that. And sometimes the tutorials, they can't really teach you that kind of stuff. And that's something that I also don't want to get too wrapped up in. So I hope, despite the lack of tutorials on this channel, it still provides some value to you guys. This is what I'm here to do. I definitely get value from the comments that you guys put in. So like I said, if you watch the channel every day but you don't read the comments, you're missing out on a lot, because it's the conversation that we're having as app developers in this app market that's the most beneficial part of hopefully a beneficial part of what we're doing here. So anyway, that's it for today. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.